All right, so I'm trying to expedite this so that we can get to the fun stuff, the fundamentals that I mentioned last week we're going to get to. But basically, the sun path, right? So I just opened up both of my files in Illustrator, and so now I'm just going to show you really, really quickly the process of bringing it into your formatted presentation, whatever form that might take. So if I go to File and New, I'm going to just create an, kind of placeholder 11 by 17 to put this on, but yours obviously would be whatever size format you're using. So 11 by 17 is here. I have my two SunPath files that I exported. All I have to do is now select, copy, and paste it onto this document and scale it down to a proper size. Now, because this is axonometric in nature, well, not really axonometric, right? You can assume that something like this does not necessarily have a scale. Even though if you wanted it to be scaled, you could, because our camera projection was parallel, not perspective. But really, as long as they are the same size, they're going to be formatted. And as long as you do the same size for all of them, it'll read well enough. Actually, you know what I'll do? Rather than sizing it like this, rather than sizing it that way, I think I'm going to size it by scaling. So I'll go to Transform and Scale, and I'm going to scale it by a percentage, I guess 20%. I'll try that and see if it's small enough. That's probably going to be small enough, if not very close. So 20% is okay for now. Yours will be different. Yours won't be 20% necessarily. So then I select all of this one, and I go over here and I'll paste it on and transform it to scale it down. So now you know that these are the same size because they came from model units. So even though the overall image is not the same, you want to find some kind of common ground in order to anchor it. So I'm going to turn my rulers on and just drop a kind of alignment here at the 6-inch mark. And I'll select these items and just kind of nudge it up to the point where the building sits on that line. And now I'm experiencing lag. There we go. So I'll do it this way. There you go. So that one's now anchored, and then I grab the other one and I can do the same thing. So once you have, all 5 of your diagram components on the same sheet and they're all right next to one another, this is going to be, the importance of this is going to be more apparent. Right now it might look a little lopsided. All right, so here's what's really cool about this process. For simplicity, I'm just going to remove that mistake, even though it should have just been moved up. So what's cool about this process is I can really just kind of delete a lot of the things that I don't want to see. I'll probably go through and delete that on this one. But since I exported them the same way, I really just have to select the objects and just kind of set the line types, right? So my sun path layer is the same sun path layer for both of my exports. So if I select these objects here, I can change their line weights at the same time. I can change my building object visible lines all at the same time. I think these are actually not my visible lines. I think these are my hidden lines. So I'm going to make them gray, and I'm going to make them with a stroke. It's probably going to have to be a very small stroke. It's also lagging. probably good to note that this is going to be a pretty heavy process and that you should probably not have a whole bunch of other software packages open at the same time. Well, when this catches up, since it is so heavy, I think I'm going to just turn off my hidden lines. And in fact, because of the scale of this drawing, it's probably advisable that you do the same. You probably don't want to see your hidden lines. Let me pause the video while this loads. Okay, well, so for the sake of the video and for the sake of you guys watching it at home, you know, whatever you guys choose to come back to it, at this point, really, it's just a matter of changing the line types, making it look good, turning off the hidden lines if there are too many of them, which in this case there are, and just showing the hidden lines and getting it to read with clarification. So, or rather with clarity. So the other thing that I just want to throw out there as a possibility for you guys is that because this is a Rhino export and you have the camera angle saved, it's very easy for you to put a rendered underlay, which if you need it for clarity, go ahead and do it. I'm not saying that it's a requirement. I'm saying that that's just something that might fit well with your presentation if you should choose. Okay? So what questions do you have before I kill this and we move on to the more fundamental stuff that was really important? None? So you guys got it from here? You're going to have really awesome sun path diagrams? Well, they should be awesome. Huh? Yeah. All right.